My dear friends, there comes a time when a person must awaken to the truth of their own nature. The time of childish things passes, and before you stands a threshold. On one side is safety, comfort, and the familiar. On the other is something far greater, yet far more perilous. You have been chosen, but do not mistake this for a decoration, a title to be worn lightly. To be chosen is to be burdened with responsibility. It is to walk the path that others shy away from. It is to be misunderstood, perhaps even feared. And yet, if you refuse the call, you do not simply remain as you were. No one stays neutral in a great struggle. You either rise to the challenge or you are swept away by it. There are some who fear power as though it is an evil in itself, but they are mistaken. The most dangerous power is not in the hands of the wicked. It is in the hands of the righteous who do nothing. Power is dangerous, yes, but only to those who abuse it or those who fail to use it at all. The fire within you was not given to be buried beneath the ashes of doubt. It was given to burn brightly, to drive back the encroaching darkness. There will be voices, many voices, that tell you to wait, to be cautious, to remain as you are. They will disguise cowardice as wisdom, fear as prudence. But you must see through the deception. The world does not need more cautious bystanders. It needs warriors of truth, defenders of light, and builders of what is good. You stand at the threshold. You have been chosen. The question is not whether you have power, you do. The question is whether you will activate it, whether you will stand when others fall, speak when others are silent, act when others hesitate. A great battle is underway. Do not imagine it is a battle fought only with swords or words. It is fought within hearts, within choices made in secret, within the silent wars of the soul. And in this battle, you are needed. So rise, chosen ones. Shake off the dust of fear. Ignite the flame within you. The world trembles not at the wicked, but at the awakening of those who were always meant to lead. Activate your dangerous power and go forth to change the world. To be chosen is often seen as an honor, a mark of distinction that sets one apart from the rest. Many desire this status, believing it brings prestige, admiration, and a sense of purpose. But what is often overlooked is the weight that accompanies such a calling. Being chosen is not merely a privilege to be enjoyed, it is a responsibility that demands more from the one who is called. It is not an escape from hardship, but a deeper engagement with it. The chosen are not selected for comfort, but for duty. When a person is chosen, they do not belong to themselves in the way they once did. Their actions, once personal, now have consequences that reach beyond their own lives. They become a symbol, a guiding force, a figure upon whom others will place their hopes and expectations. This is not a gift that allows for self-indulgence. It is a task that requires discipline, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment. The chosen must carry a burden that others do not, and they must do so with integrity. History is filled with examples of those who were chosen and faltered because they misunderstood what it meant. Some believed that being set apart meant they were above the struggles of others, that they were entitled to power without the weight of duty. They mistook their calling as a means for personal gain rather than as a summons to serve. Such individuals often met ruin, not because they lacked ability, but because they failed to recognize that their status was not for their own benefit alone. To be chosen means to step forward when others step back. It is to embrace a role that will often be difficult, sometimes even lonely. It means making decisions that others do not have to make. standing firm when the easier path would be to yield. The chosen are not exempt from struggle. They are often the ones who face the greatest trials. But their trials are not meant to destroy them. They are meant to refine them. Responsibility weighs heavily upon those who are called. It requires wisdom, patience, and perseverance. The chosen must be willing to learn, to grow, to admit when they are wrong, and to continue even when the road is arduous. They cannot afford to be careless, for their missteps do not only affect them, others will look to them for guidance, for strength, for an example to follow. This is not a position to be taken lightly. Many who are chosen hesitate, wondering if they are truly capable of fulfilling their calling. They fear failure, doubt their worthiness, and struggle with the knowledge that their path will not always be easy. But the truth is that no one is ever fully ready when they are called. Readiness is not a prerequisite. It is a result of stepping into the role and growing through the challenges that come. The chosen are not perfect. They are simply those who have been given a task greater than themselves. And it is in accepting that task that they become who they were meant to be. The responsibility of the chosen is not just to act, but to act rightly. Power and influence can corrupt those who do not understand their purpose. The chosen must guard against arrogance, against the temptation to use their position for selfish ends. They must remember that their role is not about personal glory, but about fulfilling a purpose that is larger than themselves. They must be humble enough to recognize their own weaknesses and wise enough to seek counsel when needed. It is easy to desire the recognition that comes with being chosen, but it is far more difficult to carry the burden that accompanies it. The true test of the chosen is not in whether they can claim the title, but in whether they can uphold the responsibility it brings. Those who are truly chosen do not seek to be served, they seek to serve. They do not wield power for their own sake, they use it to uplift others. To be chosen is to accept a life that is not always easy, but one that is deeply meaningful. It is to walk a path that may be difficult, but one that leads to something greater. The chosen are those who do not shrink back in fear, but step forward with resolve. They do not wait for certainty. They move forward despite uncertainty. And in doing so, they fulfill their true purpose. Power is an undeniable force, capable of shaping the world in ways both magnificent and terrifying. It resides in every corner of human existence, whether in the hands of leaders, the heart of institutions, or the quiet strength within an individual. But power is not inherently good or evil. It is the way in which power is used that determines its ultimate impact. In its purest form, power is a tool, a means to an end. But like all tools, it can be used with great effectiveness for either creation or destruction. Power, when left unchecked or misdirected, becomes a dangerous force. However, when wielded with wisdom, integrity, and a sense of responsibility, it can become a force for good, capable of healing, building, and transforming. The danger of power lies in its ability to corrupt. When power is accumulated without a clear sense of purpose, it can quickly slip into the hands of those who are blind to its consequences. This is a fundamental truth that has been proven time and again throughout history. The pursuit of power for personal gain often blinds individuals to the needs of others, leading to exploitation, suffering, and injustice. Once power is obtained, it can be used to suppress, dominate, and control. Those who wield it can begin to see themselves as superior, above reproach, and above the law. This is the corrupting influence of power. However, this danger does not mean that power should be feared or avoided. On the contrary, to fear power is to abdicate the responsibility that comes with it. Power in its purest form is neutral. It is the intentions of those who wield it that shape its consequences. The key to understanding the true nature of power is to recognize that it must be used with caution, responsibility, and for a purpose that serves the greater good. It is not enough to simply possess power. One must understand how to use it, and just as importantly, when to wield it and when to hold back. Power, when used for good, has the ability to effect profound change. History is replete with examples of leaders and visionaries who used their power to uplift others, to break down barriers, and to push the boundaries of what was thought possible. But in all these cases, their power was used with a sense of purpose and direction. They were guided not by personal ambition, but by a deep sense of duty to something greater than themselves. They understood that power in the right hands can bring about justice, equality, and progress. But they also understood that power, when misused, can have catastrophic consequences. One of the greatest challenges of wielding power for good is the temptation to use it for personal gain. It is easy to justify small abuses of power, to make compromises that seem harmless in the moment but have long-term consequences. The erosion of integrity often begins with a small step, a seemingly innocent choice that, over time, snowballs into something far more dangerous. This is why those who possess power must be vigilant, continually assessing their own motives. It is not enough to simply have good intentions. One must constantly strive to ensure that their actions align with those intentions. True power is not the ability to control others or force them into submission. It is the ability to inspire, to lead by example, and to create opportunities for others to thrive. The most effective leaders are those who understand that their power is not for their own benefit, but for the benefit of those they serve. Power used for good does not seek to oppress or dominate, but to empower others. It seeks to lift others up, to provide them with the tools they need to succeed, and to create a world in which everyone has the opportunity to reach their full potential. Power must be used with humility, recognizing that it is a privilege to have it and a responsibility to use it wisely. Those who wield power must be aware of the impact their decisions have on the lives of others. Every choice made, every action taken, ripples outward and has consequences that extend far beyond the immediate moment. This is the great responsibility that comes with power, the awareness that one's actions affect not only the present, but the future as well. To misuse power is to damage the fabric of society, to perpetuate cycles of injustice, and to rob others of their opportunity to thrive. But power can also be a force for healing and restoration. When used with wisdom and compassion, power has the potential to change lives in profound and lasting ways. It can create systems of justice, provide education, protect the vulnerable, and ensure that resources are distributed equitably. Power, when used for good, can address the most pressing issues facing society and help to build a more just, equitable, and compassionate world. But this requires a deep sense of responsibility and a commitment to serving others rather than oneself. The danger of power is not that it exists, but that it is often abused by those who fail to recognize its consequences. Power without purpose, without moral grounding, can easily lead to harm. But when power is used with integrity, with compassion, and with a clear vision for the common good, it becomes a force that can move mountains. It has the ability to heal divisions, bridge gaps, and create a world that is more just and more humane. To use power for good requires a deep understanding of its potential for both good and evil. It demands self-awareness, humility, and a willingness to act in the service of others. It requires an unwavering commitment to doing what is right, even when it is difficult. The danger of power lies not in its existence, but in its misuse. It is up to each of us to ensure that we use the power we have, in whatever form it takes, to make the world a better place for those who come after us. Courage is not an innate quality that we either have or don't have. It is a response, a reaction to a situation that demands something more from us than what we are accustomed to offering. It awakens in moments of crisis, in times when we are called to act in ways that challenge us, stretch our limits, and require us to step out of our comfort zones. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite it. It is the moment when we answer a call to rise above our own doubts, uncertainties, and hesitations, stepping into a space where the unknown awaits us. When the call comes, it is not always a loud and clear invitation. It can be subtle, quiet, and sometimes it arrives as an inner whisper, a sense that there is something we must do, something beyond the ordinary course of our lives. The call can take many forms. It may come in the shape of an opportunity, a challenge, a responsibility, or even a personal crisis. In these moments, we are given a choice to step forward into the unknown or to remain in the safety of what is familiar. Courage awakens when we make the choice to answer the call, when we decide to embrace the uncertainty and face what lies ahead. This call often comes when we least expect it, and it does not wait for us to feel ready. There is no perfect moment when everything aligns to make the task seem easy or certain. Courage is needed because the call requires us to move beyond the rational, to ignore the voice that says, "Wait, you're not prepared," or "You can't do it." These voices of fear, doubt, and insecurity are present in every moment where courage is called for. But the answer to the call lies in overcoming these voices, in recognizing that courage is not about feeling confident or ready, but about acting despite our fear. The first step in answering the call is acknowledging that it has arrived. Often the call comes in the form of a challenge or an opportunity that stirs something within us. It could be a new job, a relationship, a chance to speak out for what is right, or even the need to stand up for ourselves when we've been wronged. These moments often come with a certain level of discomfort that forces us to confront our own weaknesses, vulnerabilities, and limitations. In these moments, the instinct may be to retreat, to stay in the comfort zone where the outcome is predictable and safe. But courage arises when we acknowledge that the discomfort is a sign that we are growing, that we are being asked to move beyond our present self and into something greater. It is easy to confuse courage with foolhardiness, to believe that acting recklessly is the same as answering the call. But true courage is not blind. It is a response to a deep inner conviction that we are meant to act, even if the outcome is uncertain. This conviction doesn't always come with a clear roadmap. Sometimes the path ahead is shrouded in fog, with no clear indication of what the next step will bring. Courage is the ability to move forward with faith, even when the future is unclear. It is trusting that as we take each step, the way will begin to reveal itself. Answering the call may not always lead to immediate success. There may be setbacks, failures, and moments of doubt along the way. But it is through these trials that courage is strengthened. Each time we face a challenge, Each time we press on despite the obstacles, we deepen our understanding of what it means to be courageous. We learn that courage is not a one-time act, but a continual process, a repeated choice to move forward in the face of adversity. In this way, courage becomes a muscle that is built and developed over time, with each challenge becoming an opportunity for growth. The call often demands that we act in ways that challenge our sense of self. It pushes us to question what we believe we are capable of, to break down the walls of limitation that we have placed around ourselves. It may ask us to stand up for others, to speak out against injustice, or to take risks that seem beyond our abilities. In these moments, we are faced with a decision to stay small and safe, or to expand, to become something more than we were before. Courage awakens when we choose to expand, when we say yes to the call, despite the fear that seeks to hold us back. It is also important to recognize that courage is not always about grand, dramatic gestures. It can be found in the quiet, everyday moments when we choose to act with integrity, when we stand firm in our convictions, when we refuse to let fear dictate our actions. Courage is as much about the small, consistent choices we make as it is about the big, life-altering decisions. In fact, it is these small acts of courage that often build the foundation for the larger acts. They teach us how to act in the face of fear, how to trust in our ability to navigate the unknown, and how to move forward even when the outcome is uncertain. When we answer the call, we are also answering a deeper universal truth, that we are capable of more than we realize. The call is an invitation to grow, to become the person we are meant to be. It challenges us to rise above our circumstances, our limitations, and our fears. And in doing so, it brings out the best within us. Courage is the bridge between who we are and who we are meant to become. It is the force that propels us toward our potential, and it is awakened when we choose to answer the call. The path of courage is not easy. It is fraught with uncertainty, challenge, and difficulty. But it is in walking this path that we discover what we are truly made of. Courage is not about avoiding the fear, doubt, and hardship that come with the call. It is about choosing to face them head on, knowing that by doing so we are answering a higher calling, a calling to be the best version of ourselves. When we answer the call, we do not simply find courage, we awaken it within us, and in doing so, we begin to step into a life that is greater than we ever imagined.